Hey Kings and Queens, welcome back to my channel. It's me, your girl Nicole. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you're new, welcome to my channel. Make sure you go on and subscribe and click on that like button and make sure you comment. Let me know you're watching. Today is episode 5 of my Raw Vegan series, and I have today Dr. Areli, who is a medical doctor. She's also an educator and coach with her expertise in raw food. She is an inspiration to me, as all the other people I've been interviewing. I've been following her for a long time and watching her YouTube videos for a long time. She's given me so much knowledge and insight on different areas, and I just really love her. She's so sweet. I'm going to bring her on now and let her tell you all about herself. So let's bring on Dr. Areli. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great, and you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So thank you, Dr. Areli, for joining me today. I'm going to start off by asking you to tell me about yourself.
Sure. Okay, well, I'm a medical doctor. I did medical school in Mexico, and I decided to practice medicine in the States. And in order to do that, you have to move and repeat residency or whatever training you have from your original country. So I repeated my residency in pathology, and I choose a subspecialty called neuropathology. And I practiced for a couple of years in England, but now I'm back in the States. And during my medical education, I discovered the power of plant-based diet. And I've been eating a raw vegan diet since January 1st, 2018. So I'm almost 3 years raw vegan. And, you know, besides my job, what I do is I'm passionate about disseminating the knowledge of a plant-based diet for disease reversal, prevention, and if you are not sick, just to live longer for longevity purposes, for healthy communities. I mean, affects everything. So this is basically what I've been doing in social media, but I have, a medical career, which has to do with analyzing biopsies from the body, everything that comes from the surgical rooms. We examine them, the biopsies or tissues under the microscope. We make diagnoses. We do autopsies. We determine cause of death. And yeah, that's basically my 5 to 9 or 9 to 5 job, or sometimes 8 to 6 job. But then in my free time, I'm passionate just about talking about raw veganism and plant-based diet.
And how long have you been a doctor?
So I graduated from medical school in 2008. So what would be basically half of my life.
Really?
Yes.
I'm like, you're 24. You look 24. I'm like,
I'm in my late 30s. So
oh wow.
Yeah.
You are still young. I love it. I love to see doctors that are young. That just always amazes me for some reason. It's just like, wow, you're a doctor? Doctors are supposed to be old.
The thing of it is that in medical school, or the system in Latin American countries, to my knowledge, is different from the United States, because graduates from high school in the United States have to go through 4 more years of college education before even going into university. And in Latin American countries, and in my country, Mexico, we go straight after high school to medical school or any university or career you choose. So it saved me some time, but when I had to repeat residency in the United States, I just catch up with my American colleagues. So I'm at the time, I think it's a normal age for doctors to graduate in their early 30s as a specialist, and then practice.
That's awesome. So you do a lot of microscopic?
Yes, that's right. Microscopic analysis.
Okay, are you dealing with patients directly as well?
When I was a resident, so pathology has to do with anatomic pathology, which is the analysis of tissues and biopsies and interpretation, but also has another branch, which is clinical pathology, and has to do with more samples coming directly from a living patient that is, hospitalized, like serology, biochemistry, microbiology, and also has to do with transplant, transfusion medicine. And that's, I had some patient contact when I was in residency. But now, as a neuropathologist, I don't have to see people anymore as sick people in the hospital.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was asking because I was going to ask if you, as a doctor, ever talk to your patients about the raw vegan lifestyle,
I would love to
help with their healing, but you don't deal directly with them now.
Yeah, it's funny that why am I a pathologist? Why did I decided to don't take care of patients directly? It's because I was frustrated with the whole, cure disease drug paradigm of treating patients. I realized that early on that if patients don't change their lifestyle, they're never gonna heal anything.
Right.
A pill, is a treatment that probably help you just to compensate bad lifestyle choices, but it will never, address the main issue. Like an obese person who is taking drugs to lower the cholesterol. I mean, if they don't change their diet, that drug is just a band-aid. It's a temporary band-aid. Yeah. I'm not saying that they should suspend all their, cholesterol lowering medications, but if they change their lifestyle, especially with diet, it will be a gradual transition for them to take definitely the pill off, or maybe take like the minimal dose, and then lifestyle does everything. So I realized that early on, and that's why I choose pathology, because I got frustrated with the system, and I thought, I don't see myself prescribing medication. I don't see myself in this model. And I said, what can I do with all these years of medical education? I cannot change careers. I mean, I was like at the end of my career, and I was like, okay, I will choose a specialty that has something to do with, that is intellectually stimulating, that is challenging, that keeps me busy, that keeps me engaged, but at the same time, I don't have to prescribe or have to do with anything of this model.
Right.
And that's why I choose pathology.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. I still think that's a great career, and I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing. I have some questions that I've been, I watch YouTube all the time, and I hear different things about this diet. And I eat a high raw diet. I'm not fully raw, but I do eat a lot of raw. My dream is to be one day fully raw. One day we'll get there. I was just hearing something the other day, and then I heard it again yesterday, about eating too much fruit, which is too much sugar, which can lead to diabetes. Can you touch on that? Can you get diabetes from eating too much fruit? Because that has been the thing over the years. Too much fruit leads to diabetes, and fruit does have a lot of sugar, although it's good sugar. But can you touch on that a little bit? Can a person get diabetes from eating a high fruit-based diet?
So the problem is not what the person eats. The problem or the main issue is what the person stops eating. If a person eats a diet of rice and potatoes without fat, they will not get diabetes. And rice and potatoes are some of the things that doctors conventionally stop or forbid people with diabetes to eat. Don't eat starchy stuff, potatoes, rice, bananas, especially for diabetics. They say those are no food to eat for you, diabetic patient. But the question is it the fat or is it the sugar? And that's one thing. And on the other side is, does people with diabetes were eating a high fruit diet in order to get diabetic, or what they were eating so they became diabetic? And there are two types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is an autoimmune disease that is a consequence of the destruction of some of the pancreatic cells in charge of producing insulin due to auto antibodies, meaning like little molecules and proteins that attack your own pancreas, and therefore you cannot produce insulin, and therefore you become diabetic type 1. That's an autoimmune disease, and that happens in children. What we're talking about now is diabetes 2, where is usually the result of insulin resistance, and that has to do with bad lifestyle choices and high-fat Western diet. That's the cause of diabetes. It's not a high sugar diet sugar-based or fruit-based diet is because refined sugar diet, refined sugar plus fat. So the Western diet has basically a lot of processed carbohydrates, which is refined sugar, the table sugar, very white, very refined, empty calories. Plus, I mean, people are not eating sugar with a spoon. What they're eating is pastries, donuts, cakes. And if you analyze the composition of all those pseudo foods, junk food, it's more fat than sugar. So diabetic patients, diabetic type 2, got diabetes for lack of exercise, getting a little bit overweight, but the lifestyle, the diet, which is high in fat, low in carbs. And just because something tastes sweet, like if I eat a cake right now, oh, it's so sweet, it's carbs, but carbs are bad. Okay, let's analyze the composition of that piece of cake and see how many calories from fat I'm getting and how many calories from sugar. And even, you know, if a person eats sugar table, I don't think they're gonna get diabetic unless they introduce fat in their diet, processed fat as well. Because it's not the same as the fat in avocado or nuts, right? But that's basically the controversy. And I mean, I don't know why it's controversial to think that what nature gave us in this perfect package is bad for you. Right. And unfortunately, many vegans, just because there is no enough evidence to prove that a fruit-based diet, not just fruit only, you know, fruit-based, like high carb, fruit-based, is unfathomable to me that they think that this is bad. And sadly, many vegans promote that misconception. So, you know, like everything is like veganism and all this movement is sometimes full of drama and who is right, who is wrong, ego battles. At the end of the day, you know, what is best for humanity and for the patients, and rather than who is right. So it's a long battle, you know. Many myths, many misconceptions have to be cleared out, but little by little I have hope that something like that happens very soon.
Yeah, thank you for breaking that down, because I hear that all the time, and I'm like, natural fruit is different from just eating processed Snickers and Baby Ruths. I don't even know if they have those anymore, but you know what I mean? Like, it's different, but you know, I don't know all the science behind it and all that to be able to break it down to them. So thank you for breaking that down.
And can I add something? For example, I mean, up here, a banana, an apple, it's not only fructose, and people confuse terms. When they hear fructose and fruit, because fructose is a sugar from fruit, it's not only fructose, it's fiber, it's water, it's glucose, it's vitamins, it's antioxidants, and the rate of absorption of the glucose, fructose, fiber, antioxidants, water, vitamins, and minerals that is in the fruit, the absorption rate of all that nutrition and protein and fat, by the way, in small proportions, takes a little bit of time. So there is no fructose overload to the liver. So many people are claiming that fruit and sugar from the fruit doesn't feed cancer. All those are myths that have to be dispelled. But just wanted to break that down.
We need to do that ASAP. Okay, here's another one that I just heard the other day as well, because I watch YouTube videos like all the time. Like, that's my TV. But tooth decay. There's a guy that just posted a video, I forgot his name, but he was saying that he had to stop eating his fruit-based diet after so many years because his teeth are rotting and you know, he has tooth decay and all this stuff. And I'm like, I see a lot of raw vegans that have great teeth that are fruit-based. So do you know why, like, some people, is there like something special that people do to prevent getting tooth decay or anything? Or is he just not taking care of his teeth well? You know what I mean? Like, is there something about eating too much fruit that can cause this?
Yeah, so it's like everything again. Many people say, okay, a raw vegan diet made me lose my period. A raw vegan diet made me lose weight. A raw vegan diet made me gain weight. A raw vegan diet gave me tooth decay. And you know, it's like, okay, what were you doing for that particular person? What that person was doing? when a person eats predominantly unripe fruit, that could be a problem because it's acidic to the enamel in our teeth, which is like the layer that protects our teeth, or like what that gives the hardened surface to the teeth. And if you eat unripe citruses, unripe pineapples, unripe most of your diet just because you want to be fruitarian and eat fruit all the time, that probably will give you problems. But nobody takes a look at the people who eat a standard American diet, conventional diets, and they also have tooth decay. It's not the diet, also hygiene has a lot to do with it. Many raw vegans think that, oh, let's live natural, we don't need to brush our teeth, we need, so many misconceptions, and they don't brush their teeth, they don't use floss, they don't floss their teeth. So at the end of the day, it comes down to what that particular person was doing. Also their oral hygiene habits, the type of ripeness that they were consuming, and the fruit that they were consuming, how ripe it was. Were they raw vegan? So many raw vegans say, yeah, I'm a raw vegan, but they also drink, soda or all these beverages that probably erode your enamel.
Yeah.
So many factors. Honestly, as a raw vegan, I haven't had tooth decay because I practice all this oral hygiene. I am very conscientious about what kind of fruit that I eat, like these bananas, for example. Bananas are the less damaging in terms of tooth decay because they don't have, they're not very acid, but I will not eat this. I will eat this instead, So it's just a matter of getting organized, not eating everything just because it's fruit. It has to be ripe. You have to be careful. You have to take good care of your teeth. You have to floss your teeth. Eat a lot of leafy greens, because raw veganism doesn't mean only fruit. Yeah. Some people say we are fruitarians, and I think we are frugivores, meaning we should base our diet based on fruit to get most of our calories, but also do not neglect the root veggies, sometimes, carrots, leafy greens, healthy fats, and all these things. Exercise, sunlight. Enamel health has to do a lot with bone health, and bone health has to do a lot with exercise, sun exposure, sunlight, vitamin D production. So health is holistic, and obviously if you have weak teeth, probably you have weak bones, and you're gonna come out and say, oh, a raw vegan diet gave me osteoporosis. No, it's your overall manage of your health gave you whatever you have. So let's just take responsibility and be honest rather than blaming the lifestyle, because as many people that come forward and say, oh, the raw vegan diet gave me this, gave me that, there are so many other people who are also responsible and serious raw vegans long-term and say, the raw vegan diet helped me heal this and this. Now I'm radiant, I am, youthful, and they look beautiful, and so yeah, it's a matter of perspective and individual.
Yeah. Individual people.
Yeah.
Take care of your teeth, people. Floss. Brush. Yeah, I guess it's just, each person is different, and it's just about how they're taking care of themselves. It's not always, people always want to point the finger at the raw vegan diet, and I'm starting to learn that it's not the diet. You know what I mean? It's not. It's what are you doing? It's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? That's causing this.
And also, let me tell you, people think that juicing is normal. Yeah, sometimes juicing helps you to transition into a raw vegan diet, so you get your metabolism, your stomach to get rid of all the cravings, and juicing has so many uses, but it's not a forever diet. And some people juice very acidic fruit. Some people are always eating frozen smoothies with berries, which are acidic. It's not bad. It's just, you just have to be mindful of what you do after you consume those kind of beverages. And if you do constantly, I would rather eat 4 whole bananas than a smoothie of banana, because it's more fulfilling to me. It's more satisfying. I will eat 6 oranges for lunch rather than orange juice, and there's nothing wrong with orange juice. Yeah. But sometimes oranges are not ripe enough, and you just go to the groceries, to the supermarket, and you get all this unripe orange juice, and you are like, oh, why do I have teeth sensitivity? Well, probably the oranges were not ripe enough.
Yeah. Right. That's good. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
You spoke about vitamin D earlier, so it made me want to ask this question about supplements. Do you supplement? Do you take any supplements? Any vitamins?
Yeah, when I was living in England, there's not enough sunlight over there, so I supplemented myself with vitamin D just for the winter,
Mhm.
and vitamin B12. Again, in the raw vegan movement, there is a lot of controversy about vitamin B12 that
Mm.
many people say, no, we produce that, our own system, our own microbiome. If we eat raw, automatically our microbiome shifts to produce vitamin B12. It's not true. I suffer from vitamin B12 deficiency when I was transitioning into vegetarianism to veganism. That was well back, like maybe 8 years, 10 years back. And I didn't know, or I neglected that part, the B12.
Mm.
So I suffer from that. It gives you tingling sensation in your fingers,
Oh, really?
memory problems, lack of concentration, numbness. So those are signs of demyelination, early demyelination. So you have to correct that with vitamin B12. So those are the two ones that I eat or I supplement with. But if you live in a tropical weather, I don't think you need D, only the B12. And not every day, you know, probably if you are transitioning, yes, every day. But once you are in this lifestyle, if you have your own garden, probably, you know, you can produce your own B12, but that has to be tested, and I wouldn't risk that. I will take it, B12.
Yeah, I take I take a multivitamin and then a vitamin D as well that has magnesium and calcium. I do get a lot of my nutrition from my diet, but sometimes it might be a little bit short in some areas. So I take a vitamin D to I take a multivitamin to kind of fill in those little gaps.
Okay.
But I do find that I get a lot of my vitamins and minerals from my diet.
Yeah.
You know.
Especially if you incorporate leafy greens and omega-3 rich seeds and nuts, and some people get scared of root vegetables because they think that they're not edible. Well, if you shred carrots, I think they're very edible. So yeah, everything that is colorful, you know, the rainbow colors like beets or purple cauliflower, broccoli, carrots, all this range of berries is going to give you all the minerals and nutrition that you need. But you know, sometimes for people like you or cooked vegans, yeah, I mean, why not take supplements?
Yeah,
that makes you feel better. Don't oversaturate, right? Because sometimes we have this misconception like, oh my God, maybe I might be deficient, and you're just hijacking your metabolism. Your body has to learn, right, to get to absorb the nutrients rather than you saturating yourself with that. So shouldn't be something that you should worry. That the supplement marketing is very powerful, because the standard American diet person who eats that way, they are not getting their vitamins, they're not getting their minerals, they're only eating past white stuff, flour, potatoes, meat, no color in it. No color. So yeah, that's why it's powerful the way we think. And I used to supplement a lot as well in the past when I was transitioning, but once you realize like, okay, if I eat 90% of my diet healthy diet, I am good to go.
That's cool. Do you ever eat junk food? Do you ever eat cooked vegan desserts or baked goods or cooked food in general? Do you ever dabble, or are you strictly,
No, I'm not strict, but people who are, another problem of the raw vegan community is labels and the purist mindset. I don't think there is 100%. Maybe I can count them with my hands that are public, strict raw vegans, because most of the raw vegans that I know use some condiments, some ads here and there that are not necessarily raw. If you add apple cider vinegar to your dressings, if you add cashews to your dressings, if you add spices to your dressings, what else is not raw vegan?
No,
You know?
I'm sorry, whenever I say 100% raw, I mean,
Yeah,
I know like, all those things are not raw, but
yeah.
like 98.2% raw. Are you strictly raw or do you eat cooked foods? Meaning like, would you eat some beans and rice or, some
Okay.
cooked
Um,
vegetables and things like that? Do
so
you ever do
so
that?
for the winter months, what I will do is I warm my soups. So sometimes the warm water that I use for that purpose may be close to boiling. So
Mhm.
that's if I submerge my broccoli in there just to make it more edible.
Mhm.
I'm not as strict in the way I like, oh, I'm gonna put the thermometer and see if I reach 118 Fahrenheit degrees. That doesn't make it raw. It's
Yeah.
not like that.
Yeah.
Probably, if what one of the things that I really, really put in warm water or near boiling water for 30 seconds is the mushrooms. Raw vegans should realize that mushrooms should be slightly cooked or dehydrated or marinated so the toxins in mushrooms get neutralized. Nothing's going to happen if you eat raw mushrooms. Okay, it's okay,
Yeah.
but if you eat them daily in a big quantities, it's better to boil them, not boil them, just warm them to neutralize a little bit of the toxins, and that's it. But if that doesn't make me a raw vegan, well, I'm not. But
No.
most of my diet, I will say I'm 99% raw vegan, at the
Yeah.
exception of those two type of vegetables.
Yeah. You're still raw. I mean, even
I know. I'm just joking for those who are purists and like
right, right.
believe in
You're like,
all
oh,
these online forums. You will see
right, right,
people criticizing others who are not meeting the standard.
right, right. Just because she steams her broccoli and mushrooms, people, it doesn't mean she's not raw.
And that's for the winter because and your body feels. I would rather get the nutrition of broccoli. It's not even steam, believe me, it's not even steam. I just like put it in warm water and it looks more green
It
than
just kind of relaxes a little bit.
yeah, it releases the
So,
cell walls. The broccoli is very hard, cruciferous veggie. So
yeah.
also when I put my rice cauliflower to thaw in warm water, well, maybe some of it get more heat than, doesn't make it rice cauliflower raw just because I put it in warm water just to thaw it. So yeah, but most of the diet that I eat, for example, in the morning is just fruit, and lunchtime is fruit or salad, and at night is a huge raw salad with some of the elements of my salad passed by warm water.
And it's easy for you to stick to this way of eating. You don't get tired of it.
Exactly. That makes things easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's easy for me. Now it's easy. At the beginning, when I was transitioning, the first 4 months was a struggle because I didn't know the quantities. I didn't know what to buy, what to eat, when, the frequency, the quantity, but now it's so easy.
I love to eat that way. And then I just end up saying, dang, I want some beans and rice. I just need to be consistent. One day I'll get there. I'm just not there yet. But I have done it for like, different times, like 42 days one time, 30 days one time, but just being long term, I just haven't been able to just stick. But like I said, it's a dream of mine and I shall reach my dreams one day. I want to be mindful of the time I told you, but could you tell me about some benefits that you experienced when switching over?
Sure. Okay. So the benefits of eating raw. So first of all, I was overweight all my life since I have memory. I mean, when I was growing up until my 7th birthday, I was a very thin girl, like jumping, running, climbing trees and all that. And then I started overeating. It was a protection mechanism by my family. So they overfed me with, cooked food. And on top of that, my grandparents were bakers, so I ate a lot of bread. My other grandparents were cowboys, so I ate a lot of milk and cheese. So it was like the perfect combination to gain weight. right after I became vegetarian and I quit meat, I felt some difference, but the huge difference was when I quit dairy, and that made me lose a lot of weight, and salt and junk food. So when you become more conscious about what you're putting in your body, especially when you turn vegan for health and ethical purposes, but also if you are mindful, reading ingredients, okay, what is better if I eat French fries, it's vegan, versus baked potatoes, you know? So once you differentiate between the cooking methods, baked over fried, boiled over barbecue, things like that. So yeah, I think the biggest shift for me in terms of health, weight reduction, cellulite, decreasing cellulite tremendously, clarity of mind, was when I quit high saturated fat from animals, and that was when I became vegan. But raw vegan, I think my clear improved tremendously, my energy levels, my mood, the way I think. It's not necessarily maturity or life experience, but I think fruit is our original diet, and it wires you in a way that you are more whole. You see the world in a different way, and you become more pure. I think I'm not saying that, oh my God, look at me, I'm so good. No, it's just I just feel it that way, and I can tell it to you like right now this way because I feel it, and that's the way I feel. That's the way I see the world. But in the past, it was more like from an egoistical point of view, you know, always looking for myself, which everybody does until this point. But it's more like, okay, I'm looking out for myself, but will my choices benefit or, you know, damage everybody else? So it's veganism. I think veganism shifts your consciousness, and raw veganism makes you solidifies more this philosophy of service to others versus service to ourselves, I think. And there are so many raw vegans that are not this way, by the way, but probably I'm digressing. But those are the health benefits. I mean, so many people consider health as, oh, you know, I heal my diabetes, I heal my obesity, I heal. But what about your mental health? And I think that's very important. That's the root of all our diseases, because why you overeat and get diabetic? Well, because probably you have some emptiness, and you have to heal that first.
Right. Starts with the mind.
Yes.
That's good. Thank you. Oh, I want to stick to the time I told you. I think I told you. I told you I was going to try to keep it.
I lost track. It's okay. We're fine.
So, do you mind answering one more question?
Yeah, let's go.
Intermittent fasting. I can't remember if you do intermittent fasting, but do you do intermittent fasting?
I try to, as much as I can. Some people start eating when they do intermittent fasting until noontime. For me, it's quite challenging because I wake up very early, exercise early, so I get hungry by 9 or 10 a.m. So I have to eat, but I try to eat within a window of 8 hours as much as I can. And sometimes I stretch it to 10 to 9 hours. So let's do math. If I start eating at 10 a.m., and then that will be my first meal. Then I have my second meal at 2 p.m. and then I have my third meal at 6, before 7. So 7 p.m. I stop eating. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 15 hours of not eating. Yeah. So for me, that works perfectly. Sometimes I do 16, but it's kind of a stretch. It works better if I stop eating around 6 rather than stopping eating at 7. But it depends on the day. And I don't sweat too much if I break those rules, because I would rather be consistent than depriving myself and the next day I'm gonna binge eat, you know.
Well, if you do it, then it must be okay. So it doesn't damage your metabolism or affects your hormones, does it?
No, I guess pushing anything that pushes your body to that puts you in a stress mood, in a flight or flight situation, you know, because if you are fasting, if you're hungry, you just feel like, oh my God, desperate, you don't work properly, you're not concentrated at your job, etc. So I think if you are pushing your fast to the point of, you know, just for the sake of completing the fasting hours, you put some caffeine or things like that. Well, I think that's when you will start compromising your metabolism.
Okay.
Some people do that, you know, the keto proponents, they eat a lot of fat and they drink a lot of coffee just to stay up.
Yeah.
And that's damaging their metabolism, even if it doesn't look like at the beginning, but long-term is not sustainable.
Right. And you said you stop eating at 6 sometimes. And then what time do you go to bed?
At what time I go to bed?
Uh-huh.
That's something that I have to work on myself. I'm working on, I should go to bed, you know, by maximum 11, but sometimes I go midnight, but I should ideally by 10, I should be going to bed.
I know, I need to work on that myself. I go to bed like 12, 1 o'clock, and it's just because I'm not tired. Okay. I'd love to go to bed earlier, but I'm just not tired, and I need to like reprogram something because I don't like staying up late, especially on work nights. But I was just asking because if you stop at 6 and you don't go to bed till like 12, that's like a whole 6 hours that you're awake without eating. And I was just wondering, you know, are you hungry when you go to bed? Are you like starving?
No, you know, because my meals are very, very satiating. Like the first meal would be close to 1,000 calories. And I'm very active, so I can eat more than 2,000 calories. So if I eat 1,000 calories first thing in the morning, or, you know, brunch time for me, and then 600 calories for my lunchtime, and then another 600 because it's a huge salad at night, I don't feel hungry at all because the fiber in a huge salad is huge. You know, let me show you my bowl. Let me see if I can. Yeah, every raw vegan has something like this. So some people have a wooden bowl, some people have a bamboo bowl. I just moved to this apartment, so this is something that I found at Walmart. I think it was $2 or $7, I don't remember. But that fits a lot of vegetables and leafy greens and fat, so that gives me the satiation I need at night, and the fat gives me that the fat satiates you. So
yeah,
no, I'm not hungry. I'm not.
Well, I need to work on myself then, because I eat a big salad like that, and then like last night, because I stayed up extra later. Like if I would have went to bed around like 12, I would have been fine. But because I was up so late, then it's like now I'm starting to get hungry again. But I just tried to make myself go to sleep because I didn't want to, you know, eat anything else. But my bowl is kind of like that. And I actually just did a what I eat in a day video yesterday and posted it. What I ate after Thanksgiving, and my dinner, my lunch. What do you call it? My lunch was like in a big bowl. Then I put a little regular bowl next to it so people could see the difference. Like this is like a regular bowl that people eat a salad out of, but this is what, you know, the plant-based, especially the raw vegans eat out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We eat big salads because that's the meal. Whereas people, that's their side. You know, they have a side salad with their big meat meal, whatever, but that's our meal sometimes. Even though I'm not fully raw, I do eat a lot of salads and stuff. But anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Areli. I really enjoyed talking to you and getting all this information. You have a lot of wisdom, and I really appreciate you sharing everything. I always, I try to stick to a time frame because I don't want to keep people, but I just wanted to thank you so much. And you guys, I'm going to put her bio in the description. So make sure you read her bio, make sure you follow her. I will also have all her links to her social media and her YouTube and everything. You guys check her bio out. She's amazing. I've been following her for a long time and subscribing to her channel, and I really enjoy her content, and she's very nice. Anytime I've only reached out to you a few times, like I've commented on some of your posts, and you respond. I appreciate that. You know, some people don't respond. I'm like, anyway, so I appreciate you responding.
No, I try to, it's challenging. When I started my Instagram, I started with a few dozens of people, then it became hundreds and then thousands. So I try to the best of
like
my abilities. I try to
16,000.
reply, especially if it's, someone who I see regularly. It's rude not to do so.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry if I did it in previous times. It's difficult to keep track. I usually reply to the comments on my posts because that's the way I engage with my community.
Yeah.
But some people don't know, like what is real versus what is just a social media account. And they write to me long paragraphs of like, I have this issue, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, they don't even have a profile picture. Their nickname name is made of letters and numbers. Like, okay, are you a woman? How old are you? I don't know. And social media is not like a medical appointment. and
Right.
I have a disclaimer for that. But, comments and normal questions like, oh, is it okay to eat a head of lettuce? Yes. Questions like that, I don't mind answering. But I'm just putting a disclaimer for people who, and don't feel that is something rude from our side, especially for people with big accounts. It's just like so many messages, and it's actually is illegal to give medical advice via social media because you have to have a proper office or medical setting or some sort of documentation, right? But yeah, just to put that as a disclaimer. But other than that, I love educating people. My posts are for that, to inspire, to provide with some knowledge. My stories, my Facebook posts, my Twitter shares, my YouTube videos. I've been not so consistent with my videos, but I try to do as much as I can. And the link that Nicole is going to put in the description box is going to be for my new YouTube channel, because I want to grow that channel. I have to. So the old one has 4,000 subscribers. The new one has close to 1,000. But the old one, YouTube is ridiculous because, sorry for giving you this commercial, but when I created my YouTube video in Mexico, that was back in 2010 or before that. And just because I don't have a bank account in Mexico, YouTube is not gonna help me monetize my videos, which by the way, is I don't make money out of YouTube, but it's nice, once in a while to receive a $10 check from YouTube for your efforts. But they will not, and they have monetized all those videos, and they're not gonna pay me because I don't have a bank account in Mexico City. It's so weird. So I had to open a second channel so I can put my bank details from another bank, and so crazy.
So you have two channels? Now I'm like, am I subscribed to both?
Hopefully you can subscribe to both. And for your audience, I encourage, the link that I provide you with is for my new channel. Once I reach 1,000 subscribers, I can go live, and I would love to do that. Before I used to prepare a lot, with the settings, the lighting, the camera. But now I just think like, you know what? I'm going to go almost every day just to catch up with people and give tips that otherwise I wouldn't do because of the production issues.
Yeah.
So,
you know what? I think I am now. Now I remember, because one time you put a little clip on your old YouTube, kind of introducing an interview you're going to do, and you're like, to see full video, go to such and such. So I am on both of your.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember now.
So both channels have amazing content addressing these issues. I have videos about fats, about omegas. I need to do a very good one on B12 and the different types. So it's a long list that I have for pending videos, but thank you for those of you who subscribe.
Yeah, I like how you break it down in your videos. But anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Areli. I really appreciate you. And,
I appreciate you too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you for following me back.
No, it's great. I mean, this knowledge is not going to come from the medical system. It's going to come from the people. It's going to come from the patients. The doctors who are now vegan advocates and plant-based advocates became that way because their patients were healing and their patients were getting better without medication and just with lifestyle modification. And that's why we have now lifestyle medicine as a fellowship in some universities, especially Loma Linda, California, that has that fellowship that focuses on plant-based for doctors to study that approach. But it has to come from the people. So get educated, get better, and show your doctor what this lifestyle can do for you.
Yes. Spread the word, people. All right. You have a great day. Where are you living again?
Oh, right now I'm in the South, in the States.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you when we cut the video, I'll tell you.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.